what can go wrong when dating Indonesian women, or in other words, when dating Indonesian girls turns sour. This is the topic of today's video, and I want to share the story of someone I met a few months ago, and we were in touch because he needed advice. He is a European guy, and he has met an Indonesian woman. I believe it was online at the time, and they were in touch already for a while. I assume it was for a few weeks already. So actually this guy from Europe now chatting with an Indonesian girl online, and she was from Jakarta. And this gentleman actually is divorced. He was married to a Filipina, but this whole thing didn't work out, and he was still interested to date Southeast Asian women. So the problem was, that's what he told me, because he needed my advice. He still had some personal belongings in the Philippines, and he thought, because this woman he was chatting with is located in Jakarta in Indonesia, and since Jakarta is not so far away from the Philippines, he thought that he just gives her some money and asks her to fly to the Philippines and pick up his belongings, return it to Jakarta, and then once he arrived in Jakarta, he would then take care of her belongings. I believe he actually bought the ticket for her, or he sent her some money to buy the ticket. I believe he sent her some money, if I recall correctly. Yeah. So it's kind of a little bit a weird story, right? I'm in Europe, I have a girl in Jakarta, I have some personal belongings in the Philippines, and now I think, okay, I sent her some money, she is going to the Philippines, picking up my stuff, and I don't know, even though they haven't met in person yet at the time. So this is the first mistake already, which this guy did, is he was trusting her too early with this kind of stuff, sending money, and then even asking her to travel to a foreign country she probably never visited before, and then getting out your belongings. Personally, I would never do this because she at the time was a stranger to him. But he trusted her too much. I don't know why, but we talked, and he also told me he's very confident that I can trust her. She is nice, and we have a lot of chatting going on. So his gut feeling was, and maybe his ratio was, no or yes, I can trust this lady. Don't worry, Marcel. I just want your advice. And yeah, here we go. So again, yeah. You don't do this. A girl you chat online with is a stranger to you, yeah, unless you start to meet her in person. Even you start to date in person, the first, let's say 2-3 months, she is still a stranger. This is how I handle things, because I also burned my fingers and I learned my lessons. And I'm also guilty of this. When I started to date in Southeast Asia many years ago, especially with the Filipinos, I trusted way too early, and some other issues I had. I was a needy guy and this and that, so things come together, and smart girls figuring really out what you're all about, and then they play this game, But anyway, this Indonesian woman apparently didn't ask or beg for money. He came up with this idea, oh, I can trust her, I sent her some money, I'm gonna be smart, Actually, it's also an efficient plan, right? Instead of he traveling to the Philippines, picking up his stuff, he sends his girl over, Actually, it's very practical. But it turned out, what he also told me is that she never went to the Philippines, or she didn't go according to plan because she used the money for other stuff. She told him that, I'm sorry, I have some family problems, I used the money up already. This is what I recall. Something along these lines. And I told him straight away, I remember that very clearly, I told him straight away, listen, this is a big red flag. You know, when I hear this already, oh, sorry, I have some family problems and I used the money up already, and I promise I pay you back. Crap, BS, complete nonsense, you know. I hear that so many times. I told this European gentleman my opinion. That's what he wanted to hear, but he then continued with his plan. So he wanted to visit her anyway because he needed to pick up his personal belongings. So his plan was to meet this girl in Jakarta. And when a woman is asking for money, also in Indonesia, you have to be very careful. Also, you have to understand that in Indonesia, this is what I learned, that Indonesian women, good Indonesian women, they would never ask a strange man, a stranger, and certainly not a foreigner, a good girl, for money. A good Indonesian girl will simply not do that. She will not ask you for money. It is an Indonesian culture. Indonesian women have told me that it's not common, it's strange, it's unethical even to ask strangers, strange men who are outside of the circle of your close acquaintances, families and friends. You never ask, you don't do that. Yeah, you ask your husband for money, yeah, maybe, but that's a completely different dynamic and story. And even when you have a boyfriend, an Indonesian woman has an Indonesian boyfriend, she would rarely ask him for money. So this is kind of the culture in Indonesia. It's different than to other Southeast Asian countries, but this is what I learned, and this is also what I can confirm. This is also my experience in dating, meeting, talking, hanging out with, and being in a relationship with Indonesian women for the past 17 years. Not one single one of these girls ever asked me for a dime. Yeah? And I was not dealing with prostitutes or hookers or freelancers or any kind of that stuff. Talking about regular girls. So this is what you need to know when it comes to girls asking money in Indonesia. If they ask or start to talk about money, drop them immediately. I released a video a while ago about the bad behavior of Indonesian women you should avoid. Go watch this video. In this video I cover some bad behaviors typical for bad women. You know, like for example, women who are gold diggers, bar girls, girls with a bad temper, and even girls without a job. You should at least be suspicious and very careful. But the girls who are starting to talk about money or things like that, you have to be very careful. So, what happened to this European gentleman? He, as I mentioned, he continued, he followed through with his plan. He visited this girl in Jakarta. He flew to Indonesia, and this is just what he emailed me not so long ago. He told me, Marcel, I found out this girl was a liar and she met other men. I was not so much surprised because of the story he told me earlier regarding the money he gave her or sent her, you know. It was not a big amount of money. I think it was like $200 US, but maybe for him it's not a lot of money, you know, but I can tell you $200 in Indonesia is a lot of money. This is a 1 month's salary for a waitress, for example, you know, or a simple waiter. So I was not surprised when he told me that she was a high-risk girl. This is how he described it, you know, a high-risk girl. And he was, of course, very disappointed. And I believe it was his first date or meetup with an Indonesian woman. And he actually is looking for a long-term relationship, which is fair enough. He's looking for to start his own family. Yeah, he's looking for Southeast Asian women, for Indonesian women, you know, because he wants to, again, he wants a long-term relationship leading to marriage, wants to start a family, and he's looking for a kind of a housewife kind of women, which Indonesian women are, you know. He doesn't want a career girl. That's what he told me, yeah, and I can understand that. Many Western men prefer these types of women, you know, and that's why, and I can relate to that because I'm also from a Western country. I'm from Europe as well, from Germany, and you have these women in Western countries more and more, you know, these career bitches, you know, who are just focusing on their career. I mean, look, yeah, we men also focus on the career, but in the traditional dynamics, you know, the guy has to focus on his career because he puts the money on the table, and then the wife, the woman, is taking care of the household, which is also a big job, you know. I don't want to degrade or downgrade that responsibility. It's just segregation of different responsibility in a common household. The guy works and the woman takes care of the household. And it's a tough job doing the household, because ask any man in Indonesia, hey, should we switch? The woman goes to work and the man is taking care of the household. You will see all these Indonesian men run away because they know exactly how shitty the job is, you know, what, cooking, cleaning and this and that, raising the kids. No, I'm not in for that, you know. So but anyway, long story short, many Western men don't want career women. Why? Because probably these men can provide. They have no financial constraints or any financial issues. They have their shit together. They have made career already. They were thinking ahead, planning strategically, and they have sorted out everything. They have their ducks in a row, so to speak. And that's what he wants. Yeah. And this is what he don't want, you know. No career woman, but he wants a kind of a housewife type of girl. So he also asked me, are the dating sites in Indonesia okay to use? I said yes, no problem. I normally recommend Indonesian Cupid because that's the only one I know and ever used. I know there are plenty of other dating sites in Indonesia, also Tinder, right, or Tinder. I don't even know how to pronounce it because I hear a lot of bad things about this dating service, and in my opinion it's crap. I tried it out a couple of times. For me it's crap. Some guys complain, or Tinder or Tinder, only hookers and freelance, only scammers are hanging around. They are no wonder, you know, I mean. But Indonesian Cupid is solid. Of course you also find some sketchy girls on the dating site, but I met my current girlfriend on Indonesia Cupid. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. So that's all good. He also asked me, because he still want to continue dating, right? He didn't despair. Which place is best, Jakarta or Bali? Yeah, I've mentioned this already a few times in my videos. Both places are good when you are a newbie to Indonesia, also in terms of dating women. And I released a Bali video a few weeks ago. I think the title is like Dating and Living in Bali. Is it recommended? Something like that. You can find the video here. You can watch it there. Yes and no. Bali is good for newbies, but it's good to get a feeling of the culture and stuff like that. But dating can also be a little bit tricky. I explain why in this video. Okay. But Jakarta is also a good place to start because it's a metropolis, big city. Many people from all over the places in Indonesia are coming to Jakarta to find work. So it's a very international, it's a very mixed up place. But also cities like Surabaya and Yogyakarta I can recommend because, number one, because I know these places firsthand. I travel to these cities. They are decent places. Also for expats, very nice to live actually, long term or longer term. But there are many other places, of course, you know, and many other provinces. So Indonesia is a big country. I haven't traveled to all the places in Indonesia. I still have a long bucket list. I'm looking forward to do traveling around Indonesia and visiting other provinces. But you also have to do your own research, you know. Just go and travel to some places, you know. Don't ask too many questions, you know. Perilous analysis. Just buy a ticket, fly to Java or fly to Timor or fly to even Papua or fly to other places and check it out for yourself, you know. Start your own adventure and do and try things out, figure things out for yourself, you know. This is also what you need to do. You need to do a little bit of adventurous things, you know. So, conclusion. To go back to the story. What can we learn from the story of this European guy? Yeah, number one, don't despair, right? I mean, shit happens. It happens everywhere and anywhere. There are dishonest people anywhere and everywhere. So this is a no-brainer. You can find them in Indonesia. You can find them in Germany. You find them in the United States. You know, you just have to learn from your mistakes, right? And I can assure you that there are more than enough of the good girls in Indonesia. There are plenty of them. There are heaps of them in Indonesia. There are tons of diligent, meticulous, caring, reliable and hard-working women around. These kind of women this European gentleman is looking for, right? And there is no shortage of these good girls. I released a video the other day about why I like working together with Indonesian women. In this video I go into a little bit into more detail why I prefer working with these girls and what are the benefits and also what are their advantages, you know. I just mentioned it. They're Indonesian women, the good ones, and there are millions of them. Again, they're really they're very reliable, they are diligent and meticulous, and they are great caretakers in general. They are raised to be great caretakers. So if you are looking for a steady long-term relationship, if you're looking for a good girl, for a good housewife and good mother, Indonesian women are one of the best. You need patience, of course. This guy was a little bit unlucky, but it's also because he was a little bit green behind his ears. That's no crime. I also was green behind my ears. You have to do these mistakes, but you also have to understand that you cannot just trust a stranger, not even an Indonesian woman. Indonesian women, if you don't know them, they are also strangers, you know. So that should be one of your core principles or one of your core rules, not to trust strangers, especially not from a different culture and country. Especially you have to be careful with people from different cultures and different countries. That should be your rational, you know. That should be common sense. But yeah, it's so easy to talk about common sense, right? But then once we travel to these cultures and countries, then many men appear to lose their common sense suddenly, and they have not even traveled there, they just chatted online, right? So boots on the ground is another rule. Yeah, it's always best to be in this country, boots on the ground. And we have to go through your trial and error, right? But the probabilities are very, very high that you can meet good girls, but of course things can turn sour. You have scammers in Indonesia, therefore it's very important to make these mistakes quickly. Don't despair, don't stop dating, just learn about the culture, learn about the woman, but also learn about yourself, because this is what many men completely underestimate. Now they're very quick and easy to point fingers at the girls, at the women. They are scammers, they are liars, or this girl is dishonest, or she is a freelancer. The hell with the bar girls. Yeah, you know, I mean, what about your bad decision-making skills, right? You have to work on your judgment, on your discernment. You have to improve these qualities, you know. One of the greatest qualities we all can obtain and constantly improve is our ability to do proper judgments. This is so crucial in life, not only in dating. This is true with financials, with economics, with everything, you know, with relationships. So these are the things you have to work on. Nobody can help you with that. Yeah, work on your discernment, work on your judgment, you know, learn about, get rid of your ignorance of different cultures and countries. If you want to date in Indonesia, you have to learn about the culture, you have to learn about the women and the dating dynamics and everything, you know. You have to do your homework, you have to do your due diligence, you know, and you have to get smart and you have to learn, you have to become knowledgeable about the culture, about the girls, about the people, everything, and about yourself. Are you a needy guy? If you are a needy guy, I can tell you straight away, you will fall into a lot of traps, also in Indonesia, because especially when you come to these big cities, these girls are very switched on and smart. Consumerism, materialism, social media, you know, these girls, they know exactly what's going on, and there are girls who are just waiting for a stupid guy to come, a foreigner, who is needy, who just wants or needs attention and wants to be pampered. So, you know, they fall into this honey trap, and this girl is playing her game, you know, so be careful with that. So with that being said, I'm checking out for today. Let me know your comments. Yeah, maybe you want to share with me or with us if you've done similar mistakes, and yeah, share this with us, and then also let's see how we can learn from this, right? I also learned from my mistakes. I done a lot of stupid things, as you know. I'm transparent with my videos. I'm not too shy to talk about my blunders and all the stupid things I did, right? So I'm actually the last to here to lecture. I just want to share and I want to help other people, you know. So, okay, I'm gonna see you soon. Take care, bye-bye.